now I don't have enough headroom. What's up, guys? I'm your friendly neighborhood hookahologist, and welcome to another video. So what's today's video about, you may ask? Well, there's always such a fun thing to do, and always, I had this thought up in my head. Terrible. Usually I would yell cut, but not today. It's a live stream. We can't do that. Today's topic, as if you already read the title, it's hookah accessories. We're talking about bowls, we're talking about coals, we're talking about everything in between. So let's get started. What I'm smoking today is out of my B2 Reaper. You know him as the Blue Beetle. We have 2 Cocoa Earth coals and some of my favorite flavor. I buy this every once in a while. It's a treat for me to smoke because I want to make sure I don't want to overdo it with this flavor. So we have, off of Starbuzz's Bold line, Purple Savior. So I'll be talking about that for a little bit. Well, later on. But how's everybody doing? Nobody who's in the chat right now. But it's all right. People are going to start coming in eventually. Oh, sorry. So, how's everyone's day going? Mine's going fantastic, as you already know. I'm smoking Starbuzz, so it'd be inappropriate not to wear my Starbuzz shirt. Of course. So, today's stream, we're going to be talking about accessories. There's a lot of different accessories out there, and there's some that you don't always need them, but they're all very nice to have. So, for example, tongs. Tongs are a lovely accessory. You get some pretty cheap ones when you buy a standard hookah. I have these ones here. These are some, Social Smoke tongs. These are on the flimsier side, if you can see. As you can see, Matt Desend, is that the only Matt Desend? He's finally showed up for my live stream. I feel like a celebrity. Anyways, Matt Chu, my man. Today we're talking about accessories. So if you have anything to chime in the chat, feel free to add because I know, we know accessories. But right now we're talking about tongs. As you can see, these ones are a little bit flimsier, flatter metal. And then we have the Alpaca tongs. Funny story about these. When I went to the Hookah Expo Worldwide, I saw those tongs. I'm like, oh, I need those tongs. I was like, Isaac, we need those tongs. And then we found out when we sat down, I was like, the person who ran the booth walked up. He's like, did you guys get yourself some tongs? What tongs? Those tongs? I like to get specialized stuff after I get base. Nah, you right. It's always nice to have specialized stuff. I'm like, so he tells me these tongs. I'm like, oh, I can have those tongs. So he gives me a pair of tongs, and I was so excited to have these. These are some of the. These are the nicest tongs I own so far. The next ones that I have here are I got these at the Regal Hookah booth, I believe. Barbecue tongs. These are not barbecue tongs. These ones are. See, because they can grab the meat with like the lobster claw. These ones are a little bit tougher. These are not as you can see, these are still stronger than those and a bigger size. I mean, look at that. That is huge compared to this. But anyways, these tongs here, these also work very well to grab coals, as you can see here. Let's give an example. These ones, they grab them all right. I like these ones when I used to work at the hammer tongs. If you remember the Avengers. Oh, you want me to bring the hammer down? Hammer down. Anyways, I like these tongs, and I love these tongs. What's really cool about these, before I talk about those, I got off track with the hammer down comment. When I used to work at a hookah lounge, I worked in the Morgan Hill Hookah Lounge, Z Lounge, and he had like the real cheap ones that you got with every hookah you bought, which I hated so much. The coals would always fall. It'd be a hassle. So I had these ones. So it would make grabbing the coals a lot easier. They grab it very nicely. What I like about the hammer tongs too is they just grab. There's nothing gets out of these things. What am I smoking? Well, Matt, to reiterate, whatever. I am smoking Starbuzz's Bold line Purple Savior. If you haven't smoked this, Matt, you should, because it is an amazing flavor. It is my go-to flavor when I'm just feeling like, what haven't I smoked in a while? I need purple or green savior. Those are my top two leisure smoke flavors. I love them. Like there's a flavor. I can't. It's. I would want to say the flavor profile is a little floral. I can't really. It's got like a hint of mint. It's a real relaxing flavor. When I have my friends come over, they're like, "Oh, what are you smoking? Purple savior." They already know it's going to be a good weekend. Matt, what are you smoking? That's what I want to know. Are you smoking, Matthew? As you can see, I'm smoking out of my B2 Reaper. Matt, if you've seen these before, you know what I call them, because I like to call all of my Lebanese bombshell. I have not tried Lebanese bombshell. Is it good? I have to try it now. I mean, if you recommend it, I must try it. Matt, if you haven't met the B2 Reaper, this is my B2 Reaper. I have it on my Gray Mia base here. Man, this is heavy. Do not look that. You can really hurt somebody. We call him the Blue Beetle because it kind of looks like the Blue Beetle from Young Justice. So he kind of looks like Blue Beetle from Young Justice and the Teen Titans animated movies. So that's why we call him that. We like to give our hookahs names around here because they're part of the family. But back to accessories. The tongs are some of the more important accessories because yes, they fix your coals when they get harsh and everything else like that. So that's always like the best thing about them is that you want something that's reliable. These ones are very reliable. I used these for years before I started upgrading myself with different tongs. And once I started upgrading from different tongs, I felt the difference between each one. Like some are tougher to like squeeze, so they grab coals a lot better. When I go to hookah lounges, well, let me rephrase. When I go to the Red Room Hookah Lounge over in San Jose, California, they already know two things. They do not bring me a hose and they don't bring me tongs because they already know I'm walking in with both because I'm extra and I try to make friends that way. They'll be like, "Oh, you bring your own hose?" Well, yeah, I'm here almost every day, so yeah, they let me do what I want. That's not true. If they're watching, I do not do whatever I want. I just bring my own stuff. So I'm not trying to get banned from there. It's my favorite place. Oh man, this is such a great flavor. So another interesting thing when you're buying hookahs and accessories, there's a lot of different stuff to have. One of which is different kinds of bowls. As you can see, I'm smoking out of my Hookah John Red Clay Harmony, not Harmony Bowl, Funnel Bowl, which is a very nice bowl to smoke. What I like about the Red Clay bowls is that the inside here isn't glazed on the inside, so it captures the flavor a lot better than some say like this Egyptian bowl. This Egyptian bowl is glazed, so it doesn't really capture the flavor as much as like what the Red Clay bowl does. And I've noticed that when I smoke out of the Egyptian, I don't get as much flavor as I do out of this Red Clay bowl. And not just the Egyptian bowl, any bowl that's glazed. So when you buy certain hookahs, like when you buy a new Mia, like when I bought the Mia Court base and stem, it came with this bowl. This is a ceramic bowl. I personally do not like ceramic bowls. For one, I think they're made a little bit cheap. I guess that's the word I would use, cheap, or they're not made as nice, and they don't hold trash. But these bowls, yeah, I agree, they're trash. These bowls, they don't hold heat very well. So like like I said, when I used to work at the hookah lounge, all we used was Mia hookahs, and my boss never wanted to upgrade to Kalima Moon or any other hookah at the time. At the time, Starbuzz Atlantis stems were actually becoming really popular. I told him we should get some of these. They look beautiful, they're nice, and it's time to upgrade. No, Tommy, that's too expensive. They're really affordable. No, Tommy, we're not going to get them. All right, fine, whatever. So I always hated dealing with these. I had to deal with 100 of them all the time on a busy night. And then I would always burn my hands because when I had to replace the bowls, when I had to do refills, it didn't hold heat, and I would always burn myself. It was annoying. It was an annoying fact. What I like about the clay bowls, especially with Egyptian bowls, you can just pull them up, smack them around, blow out of them, and everything. Because go to the run and watch later. You have a good one too, Matt. Talk to you later, buddy. Matt Dezen from the AM Hookah podcast, also at Matt Dezen on YouTube. If you do not watch this man, there's something wrong with you. He is a great guy. One of my new hookah friends, probably one of my greatest hookah friends. Just kidding. Adrian's pretty cool too. But back to the topic at hand, the bowls at this point. Bowls come and go. I have 3 of them here. I have the Egyptian bowl, which comes with a lot of different hookahs here. When you buy, say, a Kalima Moon, they come with an Egyptian bowl. When you buy Flyer hookahs, they come with an Egyptian bowl, which is great. And then when you start noticing that, like, oh, I want something a little bit more of a deeper, something a little bit more deep, you can go ahead and get yourself a Hookah John or an 80 feet bowl. This is not a Hookah John bowl. This is just a regular bowl I got at the bedroom as well. I chipped this one a little bit. If you can see that, there's a little chip on the inside because I dropped it, which I was surprised. I dropped it from like this height from my kitchen table to the floor, and it only chipped one little bit. It didn't even break, which is crazy. Crazy durable. For instance, that for me that's crazy because I thought I was definitely gonna break it. But what I like about the clay bowls is that you can grab them, you can change the bowl, and you're not gonna burn your hands, which is fantastic for me, especially when I worked at a hookah lounge. Like, I wish we had some of these because I would burn myself all the freaking time, and it was annoying. I hated it. But speaking of bowls, there are a few accessories that not everyone should have. A lot of people like to pack bowls differently. I just got into the habit of using one of these oyster forks. It's a pretty basic oyster fork. It's nothing too fancy, not like the Alpha Comma ones that come with the little foil poker on the end when you pull off the leaf, which is fantastic. I need to get me some, but it's not really a big necessity because I have this one here. This one is actually really great. What's cool about this is that you can go ahead and just scoop it in there. You can move around the tobacco, pat it down. When I do with these ones, especially with funnel-like bowls, I like to get them on the edge a little bit. And I started using Matt's pack method, which I saw him do a regular pack with, or even a fluff pack. So what he does is, I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, but I'm gonna do it anyways. But he puts majority of the tobacco you got to use in the one part. So let's say right here, he packs it up real good, and then he goes with a foil poker and kind of moves it around and kind of adds tobacco where it needs to be. So that's actually kind of cool. What I like about these, and I used to use my hands a lot when I packed bowls, and I noticed that my bowl's gotten a hell of a lot better now that I don't, because I can easily move the tobacco around a lot better with an oyster fork. So if you don't use an oyster fork, I suggest that you should at least try it once or twice. You're not going to get the perfect bowl right off the bat. It doesn't happen like that unless you're the world's best bowl packer, then by all means, go ahead. But it takes a lot of practice, and I, for one, am very grateful that I have this in my arsenal of hookah bowl packing, because it just works really well. Man, the B2 rips seashell like there's no tomorrow. This is by far one of my favorite hookahs that I own right now. Yeah, it actually gives a better cloud input than my actual Cloud King, which is cool. And I cannot explain enough how much I love my mob hookah, but I'm starting to gravitate towards newer hookahs. I'm working at getting a B2. I might actually just get a Regal Prince. I saw that I had a pretty nice setup for about $200, $300, which isn't like too expensive for a Regal, but it's a bit pricey. I should probably get one fairly soon. So, like I said, back to this. Get yourself an oyster fork if you don't already have one. I think they are a fantastic piece of machinery, fantastic accessory to use. It's one of the best things to use to pack bowls, and it's really helped me a lot. I've been using it ever since I got back from the expo in August, and my bowls my friends tell me my bowls got a hell of a lot better with them. So, oyster fork is another great thing you should do. And since we're on the bowl topic, and I mentioned this before, foil pokers. I used to use toothpicks a lot of the time, or some kind of sharp object to poke the holes. This makes it a lot better. It always keeps a sharp point. If I pack multiple bowls, the toothpick will kind of get dull after a while, but with this, it doesn't get dull, at least not for a while. I mean, I don't think it could be just because it's ripping through tinfoil. It's not like I'm poking actual, tin or anything. So this is a great thing. I got this also at the Hookah Expo Worldwide. I got this for, I think, $1 or free, one of the two. But this really does help a lot. I like having different kinds of accessories to make my job a lot easier when I'm packing bowls, because I don't like to pack bowls very often. Obviously, I pack my own when I'm at home, or when I have guests over, I pack them. But I've noticed from using toothpicks before to now using this, it is a lot better to use. You know what I should have done? I should have got foil and showed you how much better it worked. Oh, too late. Can't go back now. Maybe one day I should, like the benefits of using a foil poker compared to a toothpick. Let me know in the comment section below or in the live chat if that should be something I should talk about, because I think that would be pretty interesting now that I think about it. Maybe. Although there's one thing I don't have and that I need to get pretty soon is an HMD. Either the Cloud Lotus or get me a Phoenix. So one of the two would actually be pretty cool. I should invest myself into one because I do go through bowls a lot, but I don't have anything to really carry a Phoenix around, and I don't want to have to put a Phoenix on the bowl and then walk it over and then walk coals over to it too, because I don't have a coal bucket, and from my kitchen to my living room it is kind of a far walk and I don't want to drop anything. Maybe that'll be something I'll get into eventually, but as of right now, it's just not something I'm getting too attached to. So far, we've talked about bowls. We've talked about coals. I mean, coals, as long as it gets your bowl started, coals don't really matter. I'm using Cocoa Earth coals right now. I've tried them at the expo. I thought I'd give them another try because I thought they worked really well. As long as they heat up your bowl, they work, right? The coals are coals, for all I'm concerned, except Instalight coals. Do not get Instalight coals unless you're using the Starbucks Quick Lights, which are a little bit better than most, but yeah, to each his own. Hookah Frank, what's going on, Frank? You know, when I said I was scared of you earlier, it's not that I was scared. It's just I didn't really know who you were, and everybody else seemed to know who you were, and you were obviously a big deal in the hookah community, and I was just now getting myself a little bit more out there in the community. I started joining more groups and stuff. So, I mean, it wasn't that I was afraid. I was just very intimidated to be shunned because you don't know Hookah Frank? What's wrong with you? How are you a YouTuber? Oh, I'm sorry. But if you guys don't know Hookah Frank, he has been in the game for 12 years, doing all kinds of fun stuff, and he is the man, the myth, and the legend. Frank, what are you smoking? If you're smoking, let me guess. Is it Tangiers? I have a feeling it's Tangiers. If it's not, I feel a little insulted. Cane mint. I love cane mint. I don't buy Tangiers at home. I don't know why, to be quite honest with you. I just never seem to find myself to buy it. I love going to the Red Room over. If you come to California and you're in this San Jose area, let me know. I'll take you to my favorite lounge, and they pack a good bowl of Tangiers. I mean, they don't use flats, they use cubes, but hey, I mean, it works, right? So, Frank, as you can see, I'm smoking out of my B2 Reaper, and we're talking about accessories tonight. So all different kinds of accessories. I've already talked about foil pokers, oyster forks, and different kinds of bowls. So another accessory that a lot of people kind of like not look at are hoses. Hoses are some of the nicer things you can use for hookahs. As you can see here, because I have a smaller hookah, I don't want to, load one of my silicone hoses in, but I'm using the Mia hose. It is actually kind of perfect for this little setup. It's not that big of a deal when you're smoking out of this. I can still get the same amount of smoke. But I do have something that I'm going to do a better review on later. And it is I just got this, and it's probably one of my favorite hoses so far that I've been using. Oh, God. It is my timber hose I got from Masonware. I got this on hookahjunkie.com. My mistake. I thought I was going to be getting a... oh, damn, the silicone's already ripping on this. I had gotten this, and it's really dope. I love this. My carbon fiber timber hose. I thought I was getting the whole hose with the tips included, but it was just this. That was my bad. My B. I take the rep for that. But I made the best out of any situation. I got an old silicone hose that I used for my old D hose that I broke. Use that, and I have a tip I also got from Hookah Junkie for the expo with my wooden piece here, which is actually a really good combo to use. It looks really nice so far. I'm getting the tips coming in this week, and if this is a silicone-based hose, which I think personally silicone over these kind of hoses any day. When you smoke out of the two, silicone does a lot better. They're easier to clean, they're very low maintenance, and everything else like that. So if maybe not buy a timber hose, they can get a little expensive. I mean, if you have the money for it, by all means, buy a timber hose. But personally, I like mine. I had a pretty good month in the car business last month, so I decided to buy me one. And that's what I ended up having. So there's that. I have a couple other silicone hoses you've seen in Where My Hose At video. If you haven't seen that, I should probably put a link in that description below, but go ahead and look for that. Where My Hose At. That was actually one of my favorite videos to do. I loved it. I mean, a lot of people thought it was hilarious, just the title alone. So, I mean, if you haven't checked out that video, go ahead and check it out. It's a really good thing to do. But that's all. For accessories, there's a lot of different ones. I mean, they all if you're smoking hookah and you're an enthusiast like myself, you know this kind of gets pricey. So I would suggest you just kind of, pick and choose when you buy them, to be quite honest, because you're not going to be able to afford hundreds of dollars worth of stuff in a day. It doesn't happen like that. Acquire this collection of stuff that I own. Took me about a year to get to where I'm at now with different kinds of bowls, hoses, and stuff like that. But there are a lot of different ways. And my family already knows when it comes to Christmas, my birthday, they either give me money for Siege products or they go buy me more tobacco, which is always a fun time. No one ever really knows where to go get hookah accessories. That's why they just give me the money. But that's pretty much all the accessories that I brought on set today and what I'm going to talk about. But now let's talk a little bit about the bowl that I'm smoking. I'm smoking Purple Savior. Like I said, I can't really tell you the flavor profile right off the top of my head. I remember it's floral. It's got a little bit of a minty taste, and it's fantastic. And you can see that the cloud output that I'm getting right here is fantastic. I'm loving every moment of this bowl here. And with that said, guys, this is all that I really have for my podcast. Not my podcast, for my live stream today. Be sure to give this a big thumbs up. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm at 96 subscribers, so if we can get to 100 by the end of the week, that would be fantastic. So help me by getting 100 subscribers, and then I'm gonna throw myself a little party because I know I'm a little awkward and cringy, but it's all right. I don't really care because I'm me. So who you? You're not me. You're not me. Lil Wayne reference. If you don't get it, probably watch that. Listen to that song. It's a really good song. But guys, that's all I have for you today. Until next time, keep smoking.